Hello, everyone. My name is Ana Martha Ayala, and I'd like to welcome you to my YouTube channel. As a reminder, I do every video in English and Spanish, and the degree theory is based on modern Western astrology using the Placidus house system. In today's video, I wanted to talk to you about the full moon on May 12th in Scorpio at 22 degrees. I usually don't do videos on new moons or full moons, but this one is an exception because it's in Scorpio and it is at 22 degrees. So I am going to share my screen, and this is the full moon chart. Now, how do I get to this chart? I go to this website, astro-seek.com, and I pull up the full moon and new moon, or I also use this for the eclipses, the solar and lunar eclipses when I do a video on them. You go to the date right here, Scorpio, 22 degrees. It's happening May 12th. And then you click on the chart, and then this pops up. So just a reminder so that everybody, you know, understands, right? If you this is your first time watching my channel, I try to explain things as detailed as possible. So a full moon is when the sun is in opposition to the moon. And it is at 22 degrees of Taurus. The sun is at 22 degrees of Taurus, and the moon is at 22 degrees of Scorpio. And they're opposite or right across from each other. That's what makes full moons happen. Now, full moons complete things. And in this case, it's going to be in the Scorpio Taurus axis of your chart. Now, we are speaking about the axis mostly related to money. Taurus is money, your possessions, your assets, expensive items like your house, your car, jewelry, things that you value. Scorpio has to do with joint finances if you are in partnership with somebody. Or it can rule your investments as well. It rules other people's money, things that money that comes in lump sum, right? From alimony, child support, insurance payment, bonuses, inheritances. All this type of thing is Scorpio related when it comes to money. However, Scorpio is also about very deep emotional wounds. Scorpios will hold on to a grudge when someone betrays them, and they will get you back. This is the type of person or the type of side that will seek revenge. So this is not a person that you want to be on their bad side, right? So um if you do know a Scorpio, try to be on their good side, right? The issue that I have with this full moon is that it's at 22 degrees, and according to the degree theory by Nikola Stoyanovich, 22 degrees is the degree of to kill or be killed. But it's also the degree of Capricorn, which rules corporations that have many levels of management, right? They're usually very large corporations. And Capricorn also rules the government. So in addition to this full moon, the sun is in conjunction with Uranus, and Uranus is conjunct a, a demon star called Algol. So Uranus rules unpredictable things. So whatever concludes or finishes at this full moon, you will not see it coming. It will be a surprise. So this full moon on a personal level, because it is conjunct with Uranus, it can be an emotional roller coaster. You can have anxiety, you can be nervous, because again, Uranus is unpredictable. Now, this is not going to affect everybody, right? It's 22 degrees. So if you have personal planets, right? You have your sun, your moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, the angles of your chart. The angles are first house, fourth house, seventh house, and then, the 10th house. If the angles are at 22 degrees plus or minus 3 degrees from 19 to 25, then you may be affected by this full moon. On a mundane level, Scorpio rules Muslim people or Muslim countries, and Taurus rules Jewish people. So I hope that there's some kind of conclusion in something in that area of the world, but it's at 22 degrees, so I hope it doesn't cost many lives. Thankfully, the Mars-Pluto opposition, right, is separating, right? Because Pluto is heading retrograde. And then Mars is going to be heading this way. So it's separating. So we're good, right? Now, on a personal level, I'm going to run through the ascendants really quick, right? So for Aries rising, this full moon happens in your second and eighth house. So there can be a completion or an ending in some type of support that you receive. Is it from your partner, your parents, the government, child support, alimony, maybe passive income, completion of an insurance claim? Remember that all these things will come up as a surprise because Uranus makes things come out of the blue. All right. For Taurus rising, this full moon happens in your first and seventh house relationship, right? So it's a long-term relationship because the full moon is happening in your seventh house. So there can be a completion or an ending to a business partnership. There could be a divorce. There could be a breakup. There could be a business deal that comes to a conclusion. For Gemini rising, this full moon happens in your sixth house. So 6 and 12 axis is where this happens for Gemini. So sixth house, there can be a completion or an ending to a work routine, a job. You can lose your job or you may quit your job because it's affecting your health. The sixth house is your daily, routine, right? But the 12th house rules chronic issues with your health. So it may be that a work routine needs to change or end because it's not useful anymore. You may end, maybe working out with a personal trainer. It could be that easy and get someone else because this trainer is not working out for you. You could be ending a bad eating habit. Right? Cold turkey. You just cut out sweets, you cut out sugar, soda, chips, whatever it is, and you start a new, healthier lifestyle. Cancer rising. Now, this full moon is in your fifth house, so there can be a completion or an ending um, to a relationship, boyfriend, girlfriend status, right? Because, things are not working out, right? If it does end in this full moon, it's final. I just want you to know that I have I haven't seen yet not one relationship that when it ends on an eclipse or a full moon that the people go back. So it can also be related to your children. Maybe your child is graduating high school or college, or you know, come across some kind of an unexpected event with your child as well. Leo rising. This full moon happens in your fourth house. So this one is a square. So there can be a completion or an ending to maybe a remodeling project, or you get a surprise bill from the contractor, something that you were not expecting. It can also be dealing with a parent situation where you have to take care of your parent and you didn't see this coming. Maybe they fell, God forbid. And all of a sudden you need to, go and help them out. Um, or perhaps you need to foot the bill for something that one of your parents' medical bills, something like that. And or the test results come back for your parents and you weren't expecting you know, a difficult outcome. For Virgo rising, the full moon happens in your third house. So there can be a completion or an ending to a short trip because you need to get to a school project or because a work project requires you to come back and to meet deadlines. This was something that your supervisor sprung on you at the last minute and you can't, you have to cut your trip short. There can be an ending with a sibling or an extended family member, like aunt, uncle, cousin, or a neighbor or someone in your community. Hopefully, I do have to mention, hopefully this is not the case, but your computer, your cell phone, your car, your bicycle dies or is stolen or disappears suddenly. Libra rising. This full moon eclipse happens in your second house. So there can be a completion or an ending of a job. You can lose a source of income. Maybe it's not your full-time job, but maybe you have a side job that you do, and maybe something ends there. Or you can maybe conclude a spending habit that you have or an eating habit because second house also rules eating. So perhaps you stop eating sugar or soft drinks or, junk food. Scorpio rising. Scorpio rising, this is your full moon. And it's in obviously it's your first house, so there can be a completion or an ending to a marriage because it's an opposition to your seventh, or a completion to a business relationship or some kind of long-term relationship that is going on. Maybe something that your partner says rubs you the wrong way, so be mindful and don't let this person get the best of you, right? Remember that Uranus is unpredictable, so this may catch you completely by surprise. Um, Sag rising. Full moon in the 12th house. So there can be a completion or ending to maybe therapy. You were undergoing therapy sessions. Um, and perhaps there is something that comes up that's in the psychological realm or the spiritual realm that you didn't see coming up again, but some deep emotion gets triggered by this therapy. And you get to resolve it. You get to complete it and you move on. Capricorn rising. This full moon is happening in your 11th house. So there can be a completion or an ending to maybe a social group that you belong to that no longer suits you, that you want to invest your time in something else, or a friendship. A friendship ends, you break up with your friend, or your friend moves away all of a sudden. Maybe they get a job that is phenomenal for them, and they move away. Aquarius rising. This full moon is in your 10th house. So there can be a completion or an ending to a job. Because again, this is a square, just like Leo, right? There can be, yeah, your career, or work project comes to an end. A, the family, there can be some kind of, because it's, when it squares, um, your 10th, it also squares your fourth, just like Leo. So there could be something happening with a family member that maybe is creating stress for you at work because maybe you need to dedicate more time to your home, your parents, your children, something like that. Or it could be that your boss, your supervisor, because 10th house is also status. So maybe your supervisor writes you up or something like that that you did not see coming. Um, or gives you so much work as an example, and you say, enough. I've had it, like I can't dedicate all this time to my career because my kids are suffering or my family's suffering or something like that, and you just decide to quit your job. A Pisces rising. This full moon happens in your ninth house. So there could be a completion or an ending to your university studies because you're graduating. So if that's the case, congratulations. It could also be that you decide to quit school all of a sudden, which hopefully this is not the case. Hopefully you're quitting school because you're graduating. It could also be the completion of a long distance trip that you weren't expecting. Maybe something happens in the country that you are visiting that you need to get out fast, right? Or there could be a legal case that's concluding as well. So, and the outcome might come as a surprise for you. So all of these things will be stuff that you didn't expect. And because Uranus is there, it's unpredictable to say whether it's going to be a nice ending or not. So, I just wanted to give you guys a quick rundown. Let me stop sharing and let you know what the potential is. I hope that whatever happens that you guys can work through it. And again, it's not going to affect everybody. It's just people that have planets or points that are between 19 and 25 degrees. So keep this in mind. As always, thank you for watching. If you would like a natal chart reading with me, please send me an email to amaastrology@aol.com. Share the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you.